Alright, what is up guys? This is another video of me live trading. So right now I have a Lucid 50k flex and I am still on eval. Right? I'm hoping that by the end of this week we can pass eval and go into funded, but we'll see. Right? And we're trading Asia session, right? Because I'm unable to trade New York AM. And honestly, like, Asia session has pretty good opportunity nowadays, right? As long as you don't get stuck in a chop, which is probably what's going to happen right now, right? So yeah, mainly we're trading NQ. Sometimes we do gold, but yeah, mainly NQ. What is this? The AM session. Okay, so this is AM session right here, and then we have New York lunch and then New York PM. Okay, so lunch and PM were very like rangy, right? So this is actually good because this sets up for a good Asia session, right? And in terms of the bias, right, we're kind of low on time, right? Right now it's 7:57. Market opens at 8 o'clock, so we have to be a little quick here. So, okay, definitely bullish, right? Because we're mitigating these gaps and then we're going higher. So bullish. And then on this, okay, this is the one thing that's a little tricky for me to understand, right? Are we going to mitigate this? Probably, yeah. But we could just leave it, right? I don't know. I really don't know here. It's probably going to go down into this gap first, right? And then rip up higher because we are bullish higher time frame, like higher time frame, right? Alright, yeah, we mitigated this, but that's not enough, right? So 7-hour mitigation isn't enough. We need that daily gap mitigation. 4-hour here, yeah, same thing, right? Mitigated 4-hour, nice, but we want this, so we have targets lower. 2-hour, yeah, same deal. All right, 1 hour, okay, rejection block right here, so that's nice. 30-minute here. Okay, 30-minute gap is about to open up. So if this ends up, okay, so this is probably gonna form a gap, right? Like for sure this is a gap. Like 100% this is gonna form a gap, right? Absolutely, like no doubt this is forming a gap. So if we go back into here, I will be looking to take shorts down to PM lows, AM lows, Asia lows, AM lows, right? And then daily gap. I don't know if it's gonna happen, but you know, today's Asia session might be like super like expansion, right? It might be like super domain expansion, right? Because lunch and PM were super like choppy, right? Lunch and PM were basically just like nothing. It was just like a range. So Asia might just have like a massive expansion. So we gotta like look out for that. And yeah, 15 minutes here, nice. So I want this to keep PM lows intact and then go back here, right? I want this to be intact. Now if it doesn't stay intact, that's also fine. Okay, nice. So we're getting that movement back, right? Oh yeah, I like this. So ideally, I would like, okay, this thing already got swapped, but PM lows are intact. So if this ends up ripping up here, and we get an entry here, so something like, you know, maybe just like a little chop, and then here, and then inverse, and then boom, target PM lows. That'd be ideal. All right, it looks like we're taking PM lows right now. And if that happens, that's fine too. We can still get the rebalance, but it would have been nicer if this just stayed intact. But if this ends up going up higher, that's fine too, right? I'm fine with that. But I don't want it to just flush through all of this, right? That would be kind of, I don't know. And then let's look at the 1 minute. 8 a.m. open right here. Let's take a look at the 5 minute. Okay, so we had a 5 minute mitigation. We still have 50 minutes and 30 minutes, right? 50 minutes here and then 30 minutes. I would want the 30 minutes to get tagged into. So this is probably going to be, right, so 30-minute rejection block here. Probably going to be a, maybe a tag of CE, probably not. Probably just like a turtle soup here, right? When this closes, turtle soup and just go up higher, right, is what I'm thinking. So up higher here and then mitigate this and then go down lower, right? Swept the highs, right? We're clearly bearish here, right? There is no doubt that we are bullish. Like, we are clearly bearish because we need to mitigate this daily gap. That just needs to happen, right? If we don't mitigate the daily gap, then I don't know, right? Like, we just had to do this, right? So I'm definitely gonna be bearish. But what about this daily gap? Well, there's no reason for us to randomly go into this daily gap here, right? Because we are bearish. Like, if you just look at this for a second, right? This is the bearish daily gap. This is a bullish daily gap. So we're overall higher time frame bullish, right? But we are closer to this daily gap because price is like at right here, right? This is a 50% price this here. So we're closer to this. So it makes sense if we tag this and then end up going higher and just completely ignoring this, right? Maybe we have a little resistance. We push back a little bit, but then we end up breaking through this daily gap, right? That is what I would like to see happen, right? So tag this and then break through this, just maybe a little resistance, but overall push through. But what wouldn't be good is if we end up going here first and then going back down and then going back up. Like, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't look clean on the higher time frame, right? Higher time frame just goes to the thing straight away, right? On like lower time frame, like maybe 15-minute or 5-minute, you could see that, yeah, okay, here, here, here. But on this higher time frame, I would just like to see here and then boom, flush through, right? Break through, flush through. That's what I'd like to see. Like, if you look at these, right, it's a very, very obvious trend. If there's no, like right here, we're just pumping, 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 right? That's pretty rare, but just very clean trend. There's no choppiness, right? Okay, I'm gonna be honest. Here we did have a little bit of chop, but overall, like, we're looking for these nice clean trends, right? So this is just a retrace down into this daily gap and then going higher. And on top of that, we aren't respecting the CE of this daily fair value gap, right? We've already closed through it. So that close through is already enough to tell me, like, hey, like, yeah. Why is price like really choppy right now? It's like, it's not choppy, but it's like there's gaps, right? It's like kind of weird. Hold up. And Q, right? I heard that they have these nano contracts, right? I thought they were gonna release the nano contracts. I was trying to search it up, but I have to look that up. Anyways, right, ignore what I just did there. We're looking for price to rip up higher, right? That's the basic idea. Price needs to rip up higher from here, right? And we're looking for that inversion, right? So we're looking for a PM low, like right here. If we were to take a long back to this gap, which is something I like doing, I like taking longs back as like rebalance plays, right? I like that type of move. Hold up. So this is a rejection block right here. Right, so why is this a rejection block? Because we swept out this low and then we closed above it, right? So sweeping out a key level or tapping into a key level forms a rejection block, and we have a really, really nice big wick. So if price respects the CE of this and we end up going higher from here, that'd be pretty nice. That'd be good to see, right? That wouldn't be enough for me to take a trade, but it would be nice to see that happening. Right, it'd be nice to see price like just tapping this, right? Even if it comes close, like that's pretty good too. But ideally it taps the CE and then ends up going higher. But for these type of plays, you have to be really careful, right? Especially because it's Asia, it's Asian session, right? You really don't know if price is going to chop around, right? Because sometimes it does, and when it does, you don't want to be trading that. So don't just take like a simple 1 minute inverse to the upside when you see it after it taps a CE, right? Don't do that because it might work, right? It could work. And I would say like right now, it probably, okay, yeah, we don't have any things to inverse. But let's just say we do get an inverse, right? Don't, like, let's just say there's a gap here and then we just like end up closing through this gap, right? And then like you're planning on, like, let's just say there's a gap here, okay, and the price closes through it, and you're like, okay, let's take a long position, right? So you're like, okay, let's take longs, and then you have your stop below here, maybe like below here, right? Like probably below there, and then you're looking to take this, and you're like, yo, this is a fire long, right? Don't take something like this because we have so many 5-minute gaps. We have this 5-minute gap. I mean, right, it's already mitigated, but like, you know, we didn't inverse this, we didn't inverse this, and we also have another 15-minute gap here. So you have so much resistance basically. And obviously, like, we're not trying to take longs like long term, right? Only longs until this, because we're looking for that rebalance play. I like rebalance plays because they're very like easy to understand, and I don't think a lot of people do these rebalance plays, right? Because over here, everyone would think like, okay, we're bearish because we have that daily gap below, right? So everyone here is bearish, but if you understand, right, so everyone's like probably looking for this right now, right? If you're trading like a similar system to this, you'd probably be looking for this, you know, maybe this, right? Personally, me, I'm looking for the 30-minute because, you know, it's the highest time frame we have right now, right? We don't have an hourly. So this is the 30-minute is the cleanest one, right? So a lot of people are looking for price to tap into this and then inverse, right? Same thing for us. We're looking for the same thing as well, right? This is the best play right now that we have on NQ, right? The best NQ play. Let's see what's going on here. Okay, so we tapped CE. Look, we're getting a nice push up. So that is nice, but do not take a trade like this because you don't know if it's a short-term like push up, right? It could just push up for a little, and then before tapping this, like let's just say you enter here, right? And then take profit here. Okay, we'll just say your stop loss is here. We'll just say you entered here. Okay, we'll just say this, okay? So your take profit is here. Now, while I'm telling you guys to not enter this, though it looks very good, right? Okay, like just wait for the 1-minute inverse, and then take the trade, right? No 2 minutes, no 3 minutes. Okay, there's a 3-minute, but it's like really high up, right? So some people, they're gonna pre-fire like a 1-minute, or you just, you know, with like some, like, you know, maybe like a CISD, they're gonna take this, right? They might take this here, or they might take this if it ever happens, right? Like I could totally see a bunch of people taking this, right? CISD, nice 1-to-1, good, right? A lot of people are gonna take this, and it might work out, right? I'm gonna be honest, like it could work out. But the issue here is that we have so many 5-minute gaps. Like we have this 5-minute, we have a 50-minute, we have another really, really small 5-minute before we ever tap into the 30-minute. So if we get like I wouldn't even take anything here, right? Because we have so many stacked gaps. We might just tap one of them and just forget this one completely, right? That could happen. And if that happens, your take profit's never going to get hit. And on top of that, you probably don't have any good break evens, right? Like maybe your break even is going to be here, right? Like that wouldn't be great, right? So probably like if you're looking to play something like this, like you might actually get it. Like, yeah, right there, you could have taken that. And then you'd be looking to get this 1.25, right? And I'm not saying it won't work out. It's just that most of the time, plays like this aren't very safe, right? This might work out here, but I would say maybe 70% of the time, if you're taking something like this, it's not going to work out, right? Because right now, price wants to be like bearish, right? Because we want to go here. We want to take out this liquidity. We want to go down lower. So taking a long here with a bunch of stacked defense that's against you isn't the best thing to do, right? And especially if you're using like 1%, right? Like 1% on a 50K. Like you only have 4 trades, right? 500, 500, 500, 500. You have 4 shots, right? You really have 3 shots because like your last shot, you're probably gonna like take down risk or something like that, right? But you really only have 3 shots and that's it, right? So you want to be taking the best trades when you have like those sorts of like that sort of risk, right? 500 risk, $500 of risk per trade. You want to be taking really, really smart trades, right? Yesterday, I didn't take much of it. I took a trade similar to this actually yesterday. It was very, very similar to this. That's why I'm telling you guys right now, because I took one yesterday and I ended up losing 500, right? So I only have 2 more shots. I don't want to waste those shots, right? Because then I'm just going to have to buy another eval, right? I'm just going to give money to the market. I'm going to give money to Lucid, right? I don't want to do that. I've already given them enough money, right? So I want to be taking the best quality trades. Something like this could work, right? And on a on a demo account, I would 100% take something like this. But in real life, I wouldn't take something like this. Because I know that like on a demo account, like there's a high probability of this working out. But at the same time, there's not a high probability chance of it working out. It's kind of both ways, right? So I would take a gamble like this on demo, but I wouldn't take this on live. That's the issue with demo, right? Is that it doesn't teach you how it is to use real money. You might take subpar setups that might still work, and then you're going to be convinced that like, hey, I can take bad setups like these, right? And I can still make money with it. But in reality, it's going to like mess up your psychology. And when you do it with a real prop firm, you're going to blow all your money, right? So in reality, it may not work out, but on demo, it might work out. Right? And on demo, like you can take tons and tons of losses in a row, and like you're still gonna be fine, like psychologically and everything, right? And you're gonna be like, chill, whatever, right? Like for my, demo trades when I was like back testing and everything, I have like 100 back tests, right? I used to do like tons of back testing, like every single day before I ever bought a prop firm challenge, right? I used to do tons of back testing, and then for my emotions, I always wrote, pretty much like nothing, right? I was like really chill, I wasn't really feeling anything. I wasn't feeling greedy, nothing, none of this, right? Maybe like 1 or 2 times, but most of the time I was completely fine, and that's because it wasn't real, right? None of it was real. It was all just fake. It was all like simulation, whatever, right? So like that's the issue about demo, is that it's just not real. So what I would recommend is start with demo, right? Demo is not a bad idea. It's great to start with it, but don't get stuck on it, right? Maybe like really like focus on demo for like 1 month max, right? A couple weeks to 1 month maximum. And then once you're like really confident on that, go into live trading, right? Definitely don't start off with live trading if you haven't done a single bit of like real trading before, right? If you haven't done any real trading, go on demo and just take your time with that, but don't spend like multiple months. Don't spend like months and months and months. Like don't spend like 6 months on demo, right? That is just an absolute waste of your time. And that's pretty much what I did, right? See, this is working out, guys. Told you. But yeah, don't spend all of your time on demo, because it's not indicative of how you're going to perform in the real life markets, right? In live markets. Don't waste your time on demo, because it is not an accurate representation. It is not indicative of how you would perform on how you will perform on the live markets, right? It's just not accurate. So I wouldn't waste my time, right? I would do good, right? If I do good on demo, like after trading for a couple weeks to a month, and I'm like, okay, I'm actually profitable here, then bring that to props and just grind props, right? I learned way more from props than I did from demo, right? Demo was just simply like, okay, I see the pattern and then I boom, enter, right? That's it. But for real live trading and, props, it's a different game. Right? Even though, and it, yeah, like another thing that makes it dangerous is that you're not paying a lot. Right? You're paying like $100 and you get a challenge and you're able to manage all this money. So it doesn't seem real. That's the dangerous thing about it, right? Because it doesn't seem real, and you don't really like take it as seriously. Because you're like, yeah, whatever, right? It's just like I basically got it for free, right? Because paid $100, I have access to like 50K in trading capital, right? It pretty much feels unreal, and then you just end up giving all your money to the markets, right, and to the companies, prop companies. So that's the thing about prop firms is like you think you're gonna be the guy that passes the first time, right? Bro, I thought I could get good at trading in like a couple weeks, right? Like maybe like 1-2 weeks, and I'll be good. But it's been a year, right? It definitely doesn't require a year, right? You don't need a full year. You could do it in a week if you wanted to, but you just need like a different level of focus, right? You need like a proper plan, and you need to be like disciplined and everything, right? Now, if you're not that level, then it's gonna take you more time, right? It takes everyone way more than what they thought it would take them. So I would say just don't rush it, right? Treat it like a skill, because it is a skill at the end of the day, right? It's not free money, right? It doesn't work like that. If you're looking for free money, just click off, right? I mean, that's what I kind of started trading, right? I thought like I thought it would be easy to do, and you just have to like click a couple buttons, just kind of understand a couple of strategies, and that's it. But it doesn't work like that. So if you're that type of person, trying to look for like the quick, easy fix, quick, easy money, this is not it, right? But it's super rewarding because once you understand it, right? I'm not saying I understand it because I'm not profitable yet, right? I'm still trading evals, right? I want to be like transparent with you guys. I've blown a couple evals, right? I don't know which one this is. It's probably like my third eval or fourth eval, right? I've blown a lot of evals. I know people that have blown a lot more evals. But you gotta think of it as tuition to the market, right? Just like you pay tuition at a university, or you're paying tuition to the market. So that's just what you gotta treat it like, right? That's just like the reality, right? No matter how good of a trader you are, you're gonna lose money in the markets someday or another, right? Some people, they get really, really lucky, right? Like you see these type of stories on like YouTube, Instagram, right? How there's like a guy and he just kind of did a bunch of trading, and like he made like 30K, or he maybe made like just like a really good amount, right? Like for you at the time, like maybe you think it's a really impressive amount, and he's like, oh yeah, but I made it like by accident, and then they just end up losing all of it, right? It's like you see some of these guys and you're like, yo, if I could be that guy, but right, like you think like, oh, if this guy can somehow do it and the market's good for him, right, like he's able to do all this, right, even though he got lucky, maybe I can get lucky too, right? It doesn't work like that, right? Those are just a couple, like those type of people that just get lucky, like that's just like a 1% sort of thing, like just a 0.1% thing, right? Those are just like some outliers. Like it's obviously gonna happen to someone, right? Someone is gonna get lucky. It's just pure like probability, right? It's gonna happen to someone, and most likely it's not gonna be you, right? Because the probability is very low. So those type of stories, you just kind of have to be like, okay, this person got lucky, but then what ends up happening is that they just lose it all, right? They just end up losing all of it anyways, right? So it's not really about the money. It's more about the skill that you get from doing this, and the discipline you get as well, right? You have to be like disciplined, like physically, mentally, emotionally, in every single aspect of your life, right? Trading is like a direct reflection of your life, right? Probably like a couple weeks ago, I would have taken this trade. Like I would have taken this trade just like this, right? Just like within a snap of a finger. Like if I saw this displacement like right here, I would have taken it. And I'm not saying it's not going to work out, right? It definitely has a pretty good chance of working out here, but I would have taken it, right? Now I'm not going to take something like this because I understand that I only have 4 shots before I lose the account, right? So it doesn't make sense for me to take a trade that's not like 100% aligned with like all the confluence and stuff, right? But yeah, anyways, back to what I was saying. Right, trading is like a direct reflection of who you are. So if you're the type of person that is lazy and isn't disciplined in what they do, and like you struggle to focus, and all this other stuff, right? Then it's impossible for you to trade, right? Because if you have all these things, those are like negatives for you to trade. Because traders, like, you have to be patient as a trader, right? Patience is like really, really important. You got to be patient, right? Even when your system occurs, like right here, this would have been a good trade, right? Even though it wasn't an inversion, I take CISDs, right? So I could have taken this. I could have taken something like here, right? Like right here could have tagged me in. I could have got limit order. Could have gone here, right? So I could have done that. Even when the thing is within your system, sometimes it's a bad trade, right? And that's at least that used to be my biggest problem, right? Is that I would take a trade within my system, but it wouldn't be the best, which is pretty much this situation here, right? Ironically, it is this situation. It's exactly the situation here. And I have become the type of person that is very patient now, and I'm waiting, right? I know that Asia session sometimes isn't the best, right? Today might be one of those bad days where it's just chopping around all the time, right? And I'm completely okay with just waiting it out, right? I'm completely okay with that. And if I have to wait, I'll just wait, right? But yeah, so it's all about just waiting for your system to happen. And for me, Asia session happens. Like, I can trade Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, right? So that's actually no. You can't trade Asia on Fridays. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That's 5 days, right? Out of those 5 days, I'm only trying to take 1 or 2 good trades, right? 1 to 2 good trades, and that's it. Because that's all I need, right? If I'm able to get like a 2 or 3R trade, right? Like maybe, like if I'm able to capture like 4R, at least like a minimum like 3R in a week, that is very, very good, right? If I'm able to catch 3 to 4R every single week, that's very good. I'll be able to pass evals, I'll be able to like do challenges, everything, right? So that's the goal, just being able to catch 3 to 4R multiple per week, right? And, like you can lose a couple days, you can win a couple days, but on average, if you're able to get 3 to 4R, bro, like per week, like you are literally outperforming the market, right? At that point, like you're outperforming everything. So that's what you have to try to get. And you can do a lot more than that, but that can just be like a good starting point, 3 to 4R. But anyways, right, I told you guys, did not take this. And it's probably going to go back up. Right, disrespecting the CE of this rejection block. Right, so this is a rejection block right here because it swept up liquidity and it has a massive wick, right? It doesn't matter, the color of the candle doesn't matter. The candle closure does not matter for rejection block. It just matters that there's a wick and then it sweeps out liquidity or it taps into any PD array, right? It could be like an order block, fair value gap, whatever. Right, but it does one of those things, either sweeps liquidity or it taps into a PD array, and then it has like a decently sized wick, right? It can't just be like a really, really like short wick like this. It can't be like that. I mean, I know it's pretty subjective, but Hopefully it makes sense. Right, and for the candle closure, if it's like aligning with the direction the market's going in, so if we sweep liquidity, if we sweep sell side liquidity, that means we're gonna go higher, right? So if I see a bullish closure, that's actually a better rejection block, according to some people on the internet. But for me, it really doesn't matter. Right, I'm okay with like anything, like any sweep, like right here, sweeps liquidity, right? This candle is bearish, that's fine. All right, if it's bullish, that's okay too. But some people say if it's like if it's aligning with the direction that price is going in, that's like a little bit better. So you could test it, you could collect data on it, you can see for yourself. But for me, honestly, it doesn't really matter. Both of these examples are aligning, but you will you can see some that are not aligning. Okay, this one's actually aligning too. All right, let's see. I'm trying to look for one that's not okay. Like this one, it sweeps liquidity, but it's not aligning. Right, this is it's a bullish one, and it's sweeping, right? SMT, whatever, but it's sweeping and it's not aligned. So that's like an example of one that's not. And it doesn't have to be a turtle soup. It could just be like a PD ray. And this is also a rejection block here too. Just like, by the way. This one right here, because it tapped into a PD ray, it tapped into this 15-minute fair value gap. And then we created this wick, right? And then look, we just mitigated it right there. So if you look at the 1 minute, like it's kind of hard to see because, it's not even close to what the 5 minute looks like. But if you look like let me find the highlighter. Right here is where we got that mitigation. So we created it and then we stinged back into it. That could have been a trade by itself, right? I personally don't trade like that. I always trade inversions or CISDs off of key levels, but you could take like a retest entry or just, after price goes into it, you could take that as well. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, Asia lows, getting really, really close to 2-day open, right? Previous 2-day open. I honestly don't know what's going to happen to Asia. If we are going to reverse hard, I would like to see these AM lows, right? Previous day AM lows, and also 1800 open to get tagged, right? I'd like this to get swept first and then go higher if we are ever going to rebalance. Okay, so in terms of the 1 hour, okay, so we're going to create another 1 hour. We might just create another 1 hour gap, right? After 30 minutes, the 1 hour is going to close. If you look at this, okay, yeah, we have, okay, right here, another gap. Cool, so we have a bigger gap now, which is actually a bit better. So if we tag back into this, I will be looking to take shorts, right? No shorts right now though. Right, after all this expansion, you don't want to take a short right here because it might just go up. Right, there's a fair chance that it might keep going as well, but usually after a nice push like this, we get pulled back and then we find a good entry here and then we take generational shorts. Right, you just gotta wait for it though. You can't just get it too excited and don't do that. Right, I used to do that. Don't do that. Don't get too excited. Don't be like, oh yeah, price is gonna retrace, so I'm just gonna look for some sort of entry trigger here and then take it up here, because you don't know if it's gonna retrace. It might what might happen is you might have an order here and then you might take profit here, but price goes really close to your take profit and then just ends up reversing, right? And then it ends up going back here again after it stopped you out. So just don't do that. Just catch these catch the tippity top of the retracement, right? So basically price ideally it would do something like this, right? It just goes here, catch this, right? Catch this move, catch this right here. If you're able to catch this, and then you're targeting here or even lower if you have a conviction, right? That's what you want to get. But you don't want to get, what you don't want to get is when price expands all the way from here down to here, and then you're trying to catch a move going up, but in reality, they're just like a tiny little move up, and then it ends up just going down like crazy, right? You don't want this. Try to avoid this, and try to start doing this, where you catch this, right? This is super safe because you know that this is the top, right? So you can have like a protected stop loss right here, and then boom, you can just target this, right? Target here, 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 or even lower if you have more conviction, right? But I'd say, like, for me, I'd probably go here or here for the targets, right? Because they're very close targets. The further away you go, the more uncertainty there is, right? The further the distance, the more uncertain. So only take these killer trades if there's like a lot of expansion and you have a lot of conviction, right? Most of the time, the answer is no for taking big trades like this. And the reality is that you don't need to, right? You can take something like this and you can get like, 1 to 2, 1 to 3, and that's like more than good enough, right? Or if you want to be a little bit more ambitious, you could take this, right? That's even better. Yeah, I'd probably stop at here, right? If we ever get that retrace and then back down, I'd stop at here. I wouldn't go beyond that. But yeah, try to catch these type of things. So I'm just gonna set an alert. I like setting alerts because I don't like looking at the chart, right? Me looking at the chart is not going to make it do anything, right? So setting an alert, and just waiting for it to trigger is the best thing you can do, because right now, no amount of analysis is going to allow me to take the trade, right? I'll probably set another one right here in case we hit this, because if we hit AM lows here, like, right, so if we hit AM lows, that would be nice for a really good rebalance, right? I would like to see a good rebalance play from there. But it needs to hit one of these, right? If it doesn't hit any of these levels, I'm not taking a trade. If price is just going to chop around here, right? I'm not going to take a trade. That's just how it's going to be, right? This fair value gap here, and then we don't have anything on the 1 hour, do we? Right? So nothing on the 1 hour. So I'm just going to wait for this to happen. Right? And you might be like, why are you, you might ask, like, why are you trying to take this, and why don't you just take something like this if it happens, right? Why didn't you take this? Well, because this is not the highest fair value gap, right? I'm looking for the most premium fair value gap, because if you short in premium, that gives you a higher probability of like getting a winning trade, right? So you could have shorted here, but like 9 times out of 10, this wouldn't have worked out, right? So this would not have worked out 9 times out of 10, but it did this time, right? It sometimes happens where, like, price doesn't sting into the like top one and it just goes into this one. That happens. But when it does happen, don't take it, because they don't happen very often, right? This is kind of like a rare thing. It usually digs deeper. But if price is like super, so like right now, I think price really wants to go down. So in that case, it just won't go back up there. Like, that just happens. But like most times, like, that doesn't happen. Making triple equal lows. Yeah, so I'm not going to look at NQ. I'm going to look at gold. Right, so I'm going to look at gold and silver. I usually just look at gold and then S&T with silver, but you could trade silver if you wanted to. Okay, so PM, massive expansion, AM, massive expansion, lunch. Lunch actually had a pretty nice expansion too. Or like retrace, I mean. So yeah. How is Asia dumping, bro? How is Asia also expanding too? Looks like everything's in an expansion. Yesterday's Asian range for like gold is absolutely crazy. I think I like clicked off before this though. I wasn't looking at gold. I just looked at NQ yesterday, and then I took like a losing trade on NQ. Wait, what is this? Okay, daily gap. Okay, so we didn't touch the daily gap. Okay. So no one could have predicted this. Okay. But yeah, I don't know why we have a massive expansion on Asia, but like we're expanding. Right, okay, NQ, yeah, let's just stay off of this. Right. Look at the daily bias, monthly bias. Right, because I keep forgetting. Yeah, bullish. I kind of want to look at the line chart. Okay, bullish. Okay, we kind of need this. Okay. Okay, so we have a lot of gaps. We're probably just going to leave this open. If we are super bullish, then definitely gap tap. Oh yeah. I was thinking about this. I was talking about this yesterday. But we never hit this though. Okay, so one of two things are gonna happen, right? Either we tap this gap first. Hold up. So this is a 1 second, guys. Right, so this is a daily gap. And this is another daily gap. So we have two daily gaps. And overall bias is bullish. So I'd like to see these gaps get like mitigated and respected, right? Looks like we have a massive expansion, so probably not going to mitigate every single one of them, but ideally we mitigate all of them, and then we bounce up from them, right? I was talking about this daily gap yesterday. I was saying like if we mitigate this, we're probably going to have a pretty massive like retrace, right? Maybe not massive, but we're going to have some sort of retrace. So I was waiting for this to get hit, and it looks like we didn't hit it yesterday. So today we might hit this, or we might hit this. Now if we hit this first, then I'm gonna look for longs up here. But if we hit this first, I'm gonna look for shorts down here, right? So it's gonna look something like this. If this happens first, then we're gonna target here, okay? But if this happens first, then we're gonna target here. So it's like a dual way sort of thing. Right, that's a nice thing about ICT concepts. I'm pretty sure other trading methodologies do this as well, but in ICT concepts, like you don't need to have a bias, right? You can just look at this. You can be like, okay, do we get this? Do we get this? Like you need to have some understanding of where the market's gonna go. So you actually do need to have some bias understanding. But from this alone, I can take both setups because both of them are gonna happen at some point. Right, either this one happens and then we ignore the second setup, or this one happens and we ignore this setup here, right? But for now, I don't know where we're gonna go. But since we are kind of going down already, I would anticipate. Okay, so yeah, we inverse the 7 hours, so I would probably say more bearish momentum down to here, and then take longs there, right? And then we could also take shorts down to the daily gap. Right, so I like kind of making like a plan on the daily time frame, and then looking at 7 hour, 4 hour. I'm like, hey, we're actually displacing here. We're disrespecting the bullish gaps, so we're kind of going down lower. So we might be actually able to take a short down here. Right, that could be the case. Right, so we're inversing gaps, we're disrespecting bullish gaps, right? Absolutely disrespecting the gap. Right, didn't close yet, but thinking it's going to, right? And 1 hour gap mitigation. Okay, 30-minute. This is where we're getting some of the stuff. Alright, so a lot of 15-minute gaps here. We did have a 5-minute. Yeah, that's kind of weird. I don't know why we're not going into this. Because, yeah, it just happens sometimes. If price is really aggressive, we just don't tap into these. We just end up tapping into the first ones and just displacing from there. That does happen. But okay. Our after we tap Asia lows, I'll be anticipating a retracement, but again, it may not happen. I'm just gonna set an alert here. I mean, it might happen pretty soon. We'll see. For Asia lows is the only thing I'm looking at here though, because like, that's pretty much it. Oh, these are PM lows and Asia lows. Oh yeah, no, they're just PM lows. Right, so that might happen. We have a lot of key opens down here, but yeah, I don't know why price is really aggressive today. Probably something on the news. Yo, we like edged AM lows, bro. What? Yeah, I don't know why that's happening. But after we take out AM lows, bro, it's gonna be crazy retrace. So you can take those crazy retraces. Like ideally you should be on the continuation side of things because that's where most of the power is coming from. But if you're able to get like a really nice retrace like this, if you're able to catch this, like that's good, right? You don't need to wait for only continuation. But if you want the highest of highest probability trades, always take continuations. Yeah, it's gonna take longer. Bro, if it chops around right now, I'm gonna be kind of mad. Right, because it got so close to this, wait, did it take it already? Do you have like SMT or something? Okay, if SMT here, but not on the other side. Yo, what? Okay, apparently gold hit like one of our levels. Wait, did this take out the low? Oh no, I made equal lows. Okay. Wait, how did we even get this on here? Like, how did I just put this line here? Oh, okay. That's the right one? Okay. Okay, looks like we just made equal lows then. Bro, we made equal lows? Okay. That's weird, okay. Yo, okay, we have equal lows. Okay, so definitely gonna come back here. Alright, go to this gap. If this retraces, that's gonna be kind of unfortunate. Right, if we get an inverse plus retrace, that's gonna be unfortunate, but it's okay. Hopefully it crosses here though. It's like a GC. Okay, so we tapped this right here. So here I'm looking for the 1 minute inverses to the upside. Right, if that happens, I'll take it. Like, I'm gonna be pretty good with that. Okay, looks like we're opening up a 5 minute. Right, this is a good scenario. Okay, actually, yeah, this is a pretty weird scenario as well. So we took out previous PM lows, but yeah, if we take out this, that'd be nice too. I mean, it really doesn't matter, right? But this is the tricky part, is that if we get an inverse up here, like if we get some sort of 1 minute inverse, like an initial 1 minute inverse here, we're gonna have to go break even at this gap, right? It could be like a fake out inverse, like that happens, right? Usually at these reversal points, you get fake out inverses, and then it just ends up continuing, right? So what I mean is that, you know, this is a leg, and you get a tiny inverse here, and you're like, yo, this is good, because, you know, Asia lows, we swept it, then we're getting a good inverse, and then you have like your break even point here, right? So good at trading, but it's just a fake out, and then it just ends up going a little bit lower, and then ends up going here, or ends up going lower. So you gotta be pretty careful about these, like just in general, right? Because, you know, it looks really good on paper here, right? Turtle soup, we swept it, right? We have external turtle soup, then we have internal turtle soup. And then, like, if we get an inverse, bro, like, everyone's going to take this, right? But it could just be a fake out. And even if you do have a good, like, break-even spot, it might not ever, like, you might not ever get break-even. That makes sense. So I'm just going to wait for this to get tagged. And we'll see if it ever happens. If it does happen, we'll think about it. But I'm not ready to take a trade yet. Right, because here, yeah, the first 1 minute inverse is the entrance of the 5 minute gap. So that's pretty nice, right? Because then we're going to need that 5 minute inverse. Like, if this 5 minute does end up inversing, then I would look to take a trade, right? If this ends up inversing here. But if we do get like a nice 1 minute, that would be pretty interesting as well. But we'll just think about it, right? For now, we're just going to wait for the initial 5 minute inverse, because after price has inversed this, we can have a pretty decent like break even point at this 15 minute, and then just like take it up to this gap here, right? That's what I'm thinking. Like, at that point, we're pretty safe, because it's like, it shouldn't, like, what shouldn't happen is it just inverses this, and then it just stalls and then ends up reversing. Like, that, it shouldn't happen, right? It should go up if it inverses this first one, but it can go up, and then if it touches here, there is a possibility of it going down, right? Just based off of experience. But it's going to touch this if it inverses this, right? It's going to touch this 15 minute gap if it does end up inversing this. So in that case, you can go break even, and it's like a guaranteed, like, no risk trade after you get this inverse, basically. But again, there is a small possibility that it won't happen. And the NQ is just chopping around, right? End of Asia session, probably just going to chop around. I mean, we're only like 48 minutes into Asia session, but yeah, you know, like, trading is pretty boring. Like, I gotta sit here for like an hour, 30 minutes to 2 hours, and I might not even take a singular trade, right? But it's good because I'm getting better at, you know, processing everything. So for you guys that are watching, the best way to journal your trades and understand trading is to just record yourself, right? Just record yourself, and, you know, you can either, probably, like, for most of you, just keep it to yourself, or you could post it on YouTube like I am, right? To just have that accountability and that community, that that future community, right? But anyways, it's really important to, like, record yourself. Like you're gonna get so much better at trading, because now I actually understand, like, my thought process behind, like, okay, why am I taking this trade? Why am I not taking this trade? Right? We saved yourself from a loss here. Like, it was somewhere here, right? I think right here. I was telling you guys about how a lot of people would take trades, like, right at that point, right? Wait, I think we would have. Yeah, I don't know where that. Wait, what is this? Okay. Okay, so I think that trade actually did end up working out. All right. So I think it did. Like right here. Yeah, it would have been negative RR, unless he would have got, like, right here. So it did end up working out, but I told you guys, like, you know, not a good idea, and, you know, I was chopping around a lot, so not the greatest idea. This ES right here. Alright, that's the thing about Asia. It's either a hit or miss, right? For New York AM, and New York AM's also kind of the same too, right? Hit or miss. Oh man, yeah, today's AM session was, like, absolutely crazy. Okay, there was an inverse here. Okay, I feel like that would have been pretty good. I don't know. I don't want to analyze AM. I might, like, back test AM. But for me, I'm just going to focus on Asia, because I can't trade AM anyways, right? I could definitely learn from it, but AN behavior is significantly different from Asia. Right? Asia likes doing this, where it just kind of edges a level and then it just stays really close to it, and then it ends up chopping around for the rest of the session, and then it just closes near that level. And then New York AM the next day ends up taking everything out, and that's where you get the big moves. But we might get a move here today. We'll see. So yeah, I just have the notification here, and then I also have one on my phone, so I see it 2 times. So if we do get an inverse here, I would be interested in taking a long, but at the same time we have 5 minutes above, so probably break even, right? Fast break even at the internal high here, right? If it ends up happening, fast break even. Yo, honestly, I don't know why I'm waiting for this, right? I mean, I had, like, yeah, you're shorting in premium, but when price is expanding like this, like, bro, it never reaches, it's never going to go here, right? It's never going to get to premium. Like, it's just going to keep going through until it reaches a daily gap, right? That's just what's going to happen. Okay, nice turtle soup. So if we do get an inverse here, I would be willing to take a trade and then quick break even. Right, very, very fast break even. Right, I mean, it's not very fast, very, very fast, but you know, somewhat fast. So let's see. Yeah, right here. Okay, probably not gonna happen. But are we serious right now? Okay. Yeah, I guess we just want to keep going lower. Alright, if we do this, yeah, it's probably not gonna happen. Okay, we tapped into this. Okay, weird. Yeah, look, devil's mark, 1 minute devil's mark. We're definitely gonna go back up here. I don't know what this weird price action is though. It's weird. It's like consolidation, and then you have all this massive, like these massive expansion, no wick candles that come out of nowhere. Right, this is the market for you guys. Right, you think it's gonna be nice and clean, but it just ends up manipulating everyone, and then it's just absolutely great. But if this does end up going up, I will be looking to take another trade. Right, wait, oh wait, no, this is GC. Okay, I thought this was NQ for a second. Not for a second. I thought it was NQ all this time. It wasn't. Yeah, this is what I was looking at. I don't know why I tapped that, but pretty much the same thing still. If we get an inverse, I'm taking it, or else I'm not. Right, like, bro, at this point, I would be looking to take some sort of, like, at least some rebalance, right? But it's just not happening. Okay, SMT. 5-minute SMT. 15-minute SMT. 30-minute SMT as well. Okay, SMT everywhere. So our idea of tapping the most premium gap makes sense, but when the market is expanding, that is usually not the case. So a lot of people might be tempted to just be like, okay, just take any of the gaps, but like, how do you know which one? Right? That's the issue, is that you can't pinpoint the one gap that's gonna like work out. Right? So in that case, you just have to like you can't do anything. It's pretty much just gambling at that point if you're just gonna gamble on like which gap's gonna work out. Or you could just take the entry off of like the gap that ends up working out. That's another way to do it, like right here. I mean, I don't even think, like I checked, like we couldn't get an entry, right, because there was no inverse. So even if we did that, it wouldn't have worked out. But anyways, I'm looking to take a move back to the upside, rebalance, tap into this. If not that, at least like up here, right? Like if I get something here, that would honestly be pretty good. Right, we have a very high fair value gap though, so if this happens like very fast, then we're probably gonna have a bad stop, and then this is gonna have to be break even. But if we end up creating a fair value gap here, and then we get a very quick inverse here, we're gonna have a very tight stop, and then this could actually be our take profit here. So it's pretty interesting how you can turn a take profit into a break even, and then you can take a break even, and then you can turn it into a take profit. Okay, I see turtle soup here. Is this a key level? Is this a higher time from key level? Okay, this is an order block. Okay, hold on. Right. It's a mitigation block right here, right? This, I don't know what to consider as a mitigation block, but this is some sort of block, and it's working. Right? You could call it order block, you could call it mitigation, because here, that counts as a mitigation. But if you say here, here, oh yeah, then that would be a I don't know what to call this, but it's something, right? I'm just gonna call it order block because it tapped into the rejection block, so it's a valid order block. So if this ends up holding, okay, that's not gonna work. Yeah, probably no trade. And then GC is just taking its time here. Alright, I'm gonna come back and continue, but I'm just gonna step aside for a while. Oh my god, what was that? I'm not gonna step outside right now because this is like, what is going on? Why is there sudden volatility kicking? Not for NQ though. GC, like what? What type of candle is this? Turtle soup, I guess. I kind of want to take a trade now. Because, we've been waiting for an hour. Haven't gotten a single trade. And I lost my voice from speaking. I mean, I didn't really lose my voice, but it's like worse from saying a bunch of stuff. Alright, inverse. Let's see it. Okay, so if this does inverse, where's our break even going to be? Okay, this is the 5 minute. Okay, I'm just going to wait for this to inverse then. I'm not going to take a risk and do that, right? Because like I've already lost 500, so I only have like 2 more shots realistically before I like lose the account. So I want to wait for the 5 minute inverse. This initial 5 minute inverse, right? As I was telling you guys before. if it ever happens, right? If we don't want to inverse it, that's completely fine. It's a massive doji candlestick. Okay, so this is kind of like leveling out the playing field, because you know doji, it's mitigating this at the same time we're heavily sweeping, right? So it's taking out both sides of the range. So we're kind of like at fair game right now. So whatever happened before doesn't really matter. Now it's just kind of like both sides get like an equal amount of validation. So any side can work at this point. And for NQ, okay, we're kind of making your way back up here. So I'm actually liking how NQ looks. And GC is doing something pretty similar too. So yeah, both of these guys are actually pretty similar, like NQ and gold. Like, they move very similarly. Alright, I'm just gonna wait for the inverse. Right, could I have taken the 1 minute? Of course. Alright, could I take this? Of course, but I don't want to take it. I'd wait for better confirmation. Even if it's going to give me a worse fill, I'll still take it. Right, like something like this. Oh, this is like negative RR. Hold up. I might take something like this. Right, that'll work. One minute, 33 seconds. All right, I'm gonna get ready to take trade on gold if it does happen. On NQ, yeah, we set an alert here. Same thing here on NQ. Okay, we actually have a 5 minute gap. So I'm just gonna wait for the 5 minutes to happen. Right, if this happens, we're locked for longs, right? And we're gonna get a good break even here. Like if we get break even, we get break even, right? That's fine. Just kind of hovering in this gap here. Hopefully this 5 minute can close. All right, if this 5 minute can close, yeah, what's going on? All right. Anyways, all right, GC is doing something. All right. All right, GC was doing something here. Okay, 5 minute. Hold up, we might get a double trade here. Then which one should I take? Probably gonna take NQ because I like the stop on NQ a little bit more. I don't like the stop on this. Okay, NQ didn't close, okay. Hold up. This is a little too overstimulating. Alright, GC closed, NQ did not close. Yo, NQ? What is going on here? Okay, NQ didn't close yet, right? So I'm gonna take GC here. Or actually, like the micro gold, right? The micro contract. So longs over here. And I'm just gonna set this up, right? Yeah, I'm just gonna go with this. Right, I'm gonna set it up good first, and then oh man, okay. I might have to trim down the stop a bit at the inducement point. Let me just get a 1-to-1 here. Okay, so this is the point of inducement. This is like a concept that I created by myself. Usually price never goes beyond this. So I want to place the thing here and take profit is decent. So, okay. Let's take the trade. Market. So, okay. Nice. in the position. And then for NQ, right, I didn't get the 5-minute inverse, right? It's still kind of, it's right there. So I'm going to be waiting for NQ. Probably not going to take anything on NQ since I'm already in this. And then, yeah, and then for break even, where did I say? Oh, I'd go break even. Okay, right here. So just at this first little point right there, it's going to be the break even. So right here is break even. I'm just going to say risk off. Right, just another way of saying break even. You can just say risk off. So yeah, we're just gonna like leave this alone. Yeah, stop loss is pretty nice. Take profit, very nice, right? 1.24 R. That's good. NQ, probably not gonna do anything with this because you know inverse didn't happen. We were supposed to inverse like right here, but it was a little short of inversing, so I'm not gonna take that. But we're taking this, right? It's going down a little bit, but you know that's fine because analysis was good. Right. Oh shoot, we're in a 15-minute gap. That might not be good. But I liked how we swept all this, so should work. And then we have a pretty good break-even point. So I'm just hoping that this is gonna inverse right now. But we'll see. Right, if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work, but we'll see. I'm just gonna step aside and we'll see how it goes. I'll just pause the recording. Alright guys, I unpaused the recording and right now we are, nothing really happened, right? I mean, we made a gap and then we mitigated the gap here on the 5-minute, on gold at least. So it should hold here, right? Price really shouldn't go below this point. So yeah, it really shouldn't go below here. But I'm just going to wait for this candle to close, right? Hopefully it closes bullish because then I can move stops back up here. It really shouldn't go below this at this point though, anyways. So I could move it, but I just always like to wait for the candle closure. And then I like to move it. So right here there's a countdown, right? So I'm just waiting for this to go down to 0. So then I can move it to here. And then, you know, we're going to have less risk on the trade, which is going to be a little bit better. But again, I want to see price close bullish and ideally close above this, right? If it closes above this, that's going to give you some more confidence. But we'll see how that plays out. And then in terms of NQ right here, right, NQ is still didn't close above this, so still waiting on that to happen. I mean, I'm not going to take a trade on NQ, but yeah, I mean, I was expecting a inverse. All right, just like another minute or so. All right, this is like my other chart layout I have. I don't really use this one. I use this one more. Right, so GC. Okay, another minute. So hopefully we can close above this 15-minute gap because if we do, then that means we're gonna go higher. Right, I just didn't realize that we had a 15-minute gap here, so kind of my mistake there for not looking. I mean, I don't really use these, like, I don't really take 15-minute inverses anyways. Like, I don't really take this, but bro, why are we going down now, bro? All right, a couple more seconds, right? I think I had my stop like here. I don't know where my entry point was, but I'm trying to get that close above. Right, and this is trading, guys, right? I literally sat here for an hour and 14 minutes. Right, we just entered the trade a couple minutes ago, and now we're just waiting for this, right? And I don't even know if it's gonna work out. Right, if it does, that'll be nice. If it doesn't, that's fine. We're gonna lose money, but we still have like 2 shots left, right? After that, so like that's trading. Like you can make it as high risk or as low risk as you want to. Okay, hold up. go here. Bro, why did this close bearish? Alright, hopefully this just expands like crazy because that'd be nice. Alright, so we actually closed above this, so that's really, really good. But I don't want to move this yet until we close above here. So I'm not going to do anything at all to my stop, right? I'm just going to leave it there. Because I like to see like a better closure. Yeah, something like this. If it closes around this area or even higher, that would be nice. Right, but yeah, I'm just not even going to look at this because there's no point. Right? I used to like always look at this and I was like, yo, it's going to work out, it's going to work out. But it never does anything, right? Looking at the chart is not going to make it go higher. So I like looking at this, right? I don't have the position open here, so I'm not like emotionally attached to it, and that really helps. I mean, I still know that it's on, but I don't see like the P&L, so that just helps with my emotions and everything, right? That's like a good strategy you guys can use as well. I basically set up multiple layouts. Right? I named this one GC and SIL, right, for silver, and then GC for gold. So gold and silver, I just have like multiple layouts, and I have one layout for the execution. So this is my execution layout, and then this is the layout I use for NQES, and then I use this one for gold and silver, and then I have another one that I just kind of play around with, right, different themes, and I like do some back testing and some other stuff, right. This is like a darker theme, and then this is like a lighter theme, if that makes sense. Okay, we're about to go here. So the second we tap this, I'm going to be risk off, right? I'm just going to go to this. Actually, I don't want to do that. I just want to wait for this to happen first. All right, yeah, it takes some time. Yeah, trading shouldn't be stressful, right? If it's stressful for you, then you're probably doing it wrong. Like, even for me right now, like it's not stressful, but I kind of want it to hit break even so then I could be risk off. It was really, really close. But yeah, looking at it is not going to do anything, right? So let's just talk about some other stuff. So yeah, once we hit this 15-minute gap, risk off, right? Because there is a possibility of it just reversing from here. So if we risk off and we put our stops to break even, we shouldn't have any risk on the trade, and we're basically like, you know, we won't be risking a single thing, right? And basically like whatever happens to the trade, whatever happens in the trade, just happens, right? Okay, here we go. Yo, is this gonna happen? Bro, you gotta be kidding me. Alright, bro, I'm just gonna go risk off anyways. Because it's really close. Probably not the best idea, but it'd be pretty bad if it ends up like reversing all the way. And I like to put my stops like a little bit above the break-even point, so then it covers like fees and all that stuff, right? Yo, hold up, did this work? Hold up, I think something happened, I don't know. Oh yeah, okay, it just glitched out for a second. But yeah, this is weird, right? Not the best price action. If it goes in one direction, it should just go there, but it's taking a long time right now. So yeah, I don't know what's going on. Yeah, I don't want to get stopped out, bro. If we get stopped out, then we get stopped out. Right? Like if it goes all the way here and then just comes back all the way down, like there's something wrong with the market. Right? Like I don't want to stay in the trade if this is going on, right? So I took a little discretionary play there and put my stop break even for, I think we might get break even. Yeah, okay, there we go. feel like we should enter again, right? Because like technically didn't hit it yet. Let's see what's going on. Yeah, I mean obviously like you have a little bit of resistance, but yeah, I don't know whether I should take it again, or should I just like wait it out? Cause it might still work, right? I'll just wait for that 50-minute inverse, and I'll take it again if it happens. Right, like obviously there's gonna be some resistance here, but it didn't even touch the 50-minute gap. That's the thing. I should have just waited for this to happen and then break even, but I really wanted to take risk off the trade as soon as possible. But my fault there. But I think we'll put on another trade and put our stop right here. And then we'll give this a go. Or it was my fault for not doing that, but I'll put our stops right here. Alright, we'll do it again. Try to mark it and buy this thing. Alright, got an okay fill. Alright, I'm just doing this again because, it's my mistake. I should have just kept it on, but took it off. Alright, but here we go, break even. And then our TP is going to be at... Okay, this is actually 30 minutes. Okay, so definitely risk off here, but... Probably TP right there. Because it should just go through, but again, may get some resistance. May see a bit of resistance. Yeah, right here we're risk off because that is the 30-minute as well as a 5-minute internal high. Yeah, I don't know why I took it out, because it didn't hit my break-even point yet, right? But then I was like, let me just move my stops to break even, because it was really close. But I should have waited, because it needs to hit this exactly, right? It needs to exactly hit this break-even spot, but it didn't. It almost did, but it didn't. So that's like an issue there. But if we can get to it right now, it doesn't really matter when we get to it, but we just need to get to it. Like, that's the only thing. So yeah, my mistake for doing that. So for next time, just wait until you completely get to the breaking point and then go break even. Right, so I wasn't following my rules there. Right. I mean, I had a valid reason for doing it, because I was like, okay, if it goes at this point, and if it starts reversing, like, that shouldn't happen. So I had a valid reason for it, but I should have still waited for it to actually go there. But okay, let's check this. Alright, this is the same exact thing. I just put my stop here because there's a fair value gap, and it should hold the fair value gap if it ever does end up like mitigating it. So yeah, that's that. Okay, I think we're gonna go mitigate the fair value gap first, and then go higher from there. Yeah, I honestly don't know. A lot of rejection wicks, so weird. You might just chop around right now. Alright, I'm just gonna pause the recording. I'll come back to it.